A 1969 AL-1 chip mounted beside Nintendo cartridges ran a customer lookup program in a courtroom demonstration, and helped stop Texas Instruments' scheduled patent trial before it began. The AL-1 was an early 8-bit microprocessor slice from four-phase systems. Three AL-1 chips worked together inside the company's 24-bit system IV-70 computer of its era. Lee Boyce built a matching system around one AL-1, RAM, ROM, an input-output unit, and a cartridge holding a simple customer lookup program. He mounted it on plexiglass, leaving the 1969 manufacturing date visible. The program ran successfully on that hardware. Reports say it also ran faster than the T and Intel chips involved. That directly matched the architecture shown in T's claims. The scheduled trial was abandoned, with the demonstration serving as prior art evidence. It did not formally invalidate every T patent. Experts still debate whether the AL-1 was a complete microprocessor. One Atari 2600 cartridge became so important that Atari rescheduled its entire release lineup around it. It was an arcade port for the home. Rick Mora began adapting Tato's 1978 arcade hit for Atari's 1977 home console. Atari noticed the arcade game's financial success, and Ray Kassar obtained the Atari 2600 rights. The console had launched in 1977, while the arcade game arrived in 1978. Mora's playable version initially needed about 7 kilobytes. He cut the code to fit a 4 kilobyte ROM cartridge. The finished version had altered graphics, 36 invaders, 3 bunkers, and gameplay variations. Released March 10, 1980, it became one of Atari's biggest hits. Space Invaders earned Atari more than $100 million during 1980. Electronic Games called it a console seller, meaning the cartridge helped sell the system itself. Atari moved 2,600 releases from the holiday season across the year. Then it sought more arcade company licenses, including games from Namco and Century. Small spiral fins on a chimney or pipeline trade extra drag for less vibration, breaking up the repeating air patterns that cause structural fatigue. Moving air or water flowing around a cylinder can create alternating vortices, a repeating wake called a Kármán vortex street. The wake can shake it. Repeated motion can accumulate fatigue over time. A helical strake is a helix-shaped fin running along the cylinder. Its changing height makes flow separate at different levels, disrupting one organized vortex pattern. The fins therefore interrupt the feedback between flow and motion. Engineers often place strakes only where deflection is greatest, commonly in the upper third. Less synchronized shedding means less vibration there, but drag increases. They are concentrated rather than wrapped over every section. The fins are not universal protection. If mass, damping, or flow conditions are insufficient, vibration may remain excessive. Engineers may need a tuned mass damper instead. Because the added drag increases loading, design checks still matter. From 1986 through at least 1988, one Boston public TV station was uniquely authorized in the United States. It could hide digital audio inside its video transmission. WGBX-TV was Boston's educational channel 44, operated alongside WGBH-TV. Its programming included experimental work, making the station a practical place to test a non-standard way to distribute sound. The station used pulse code modulation, or PCM, which represents audio as digital data. That data traveled inside the video signal under special FCC permission. Residents with suitable decoder equipment could record the signal on videotape and recover the audio later. The material included overnight WGBH-FM simulcasts and specially recorded concerts. The result was a narrow test, not a nationwide standard. Residents could receive digital audio through videotape, but only with the right decoder. Without it, residents could not recover the audio. It carried digital audio through videotape rather than a conventional broadcast audio path. In 1971, Audichron estimated Don Elliott Heald's recorded voice was heard on 12 million phone calls a day. The calls came through telephone-connected talking clocks, not live broadcasting. Audichron had produced talking clocks since the 1930s. The The company later made temperature announcement machines too. Instead of keeping an operator on every line, each machine played recorded announcement segments. The system spread when Audichron found sponsors, including banks, and leased equipment to local telephone companies. Field service engineers installed the machines inside telephone central offices. The phone company provided the telephone connection, while Audichron received payment through that arrangement. Incoming telephone trunks routed callers directly to the announcement machines. The phone company billed the sponsor for the trunks and equipment. One hired speaker's segmented recording could therefore serve callers automatically, while customers could choose a man's or woman's voice. No live speaker had to repeat the announcement for each incoming caller. The Potomac-class frigates were built slowly to protect workmanship, yet the last ships were obsolete when they entered service. The plan followed rushed Java-class construction where speed damaged materials and craftsmanship. The Navy wanted time to build better ships. Congress authorized 9 frigates as a peacetime gradual increase. They used older designs with a nominal battery of 44 guns. Each ship carried about 480 crew members. But Congress did not provide enough funding. Crews built the hulls nearly complete, then stored them beneath protective structures to preserve them for possible wartime completion. That schedule stretched the class across roughly 40 years. The first ship was laid down in 1820 while the last was commissioned in 1861. By then, steam power had overtaken sail-only warships. Sabine and Santee entered service already considered obsolete despite the quality the strategy protected. Instead, the Navy lengthened each ship by 15 feet. The ophicleide became an early British brass band bass, then largely vanished when the euphonium took over the same role. Invented in France in 1817 by Jean-Hilaire Estée, it extended the keyed bugle into a lower register and replaced the older serpent. It used a cup-shaped mouthpiece. Its large tone holes were opened by keys. Each opening changed the effective length of the air column, altering the pitch. The player controlled those holes with fingers through the keys. That design gave military bands and orchestral brass sections across Western Europe a low voice. Then valves enabled related instruments, including early tubas with more flexible operation. By the end of the 19th century, British bands had largely replaced ophicleides with valved instruments, particularly euphoniums. It later saw revival, but in Britain the band role had moved to valves. At the first showing of Viet Flakes, the audience unknowingly affected the projection equipment through their physical responses in theater seats. Viet Flakes was Carolee Schneemann's 1967 experimental short, a collage of Vietnam War news photographs made as an anti-war work. Its first showing came on January 21, 1967, inside Schneemann's performance snows at New York's Martinique Theater. Technicians attached contact microphones to the seats. Signals from the audience fed silicon-controlled rectifiers, changing the speed of projection. 3 16mm projectors, audio tapes, a color organ, and a strobe were part of the performance. The audience did not simply watch, its presence became feedback in the system.